Hey everyone, welcome back to Losers Club SMP. This is episode 6. In today's episode, we're going to start working on the project of draining the ocean monument near the starter base. To start off, I already did the corner outlining, or marking the pillars at least. This way then, all I gotta do is go in, border this up for starters, and we can start getting everything laid out, start getting it sectioned off into bits, and then eliminating everything therein. With today's episode, it's going to be a bit of a grindy one with a lot of ocean monument. I'm hoping to get a beacon in this episode as well. Just stuff to help make everything go by a little bit smoother. So draining the ocean monument with sand, it's not that hard. The hardest part about this is going to be, quite honestly, and I'm being serious when I say this, the hardest part's going to be how I'm going to eliminate everything. So in today's episode, one of the things that I wanted to do was create a wither farm. Or not a wither, but wither skeleton, if you know what I mean. Now with the wither skeleton farm, I was doing some research into the best kind to run. And efficiency-wise, there isn't much better than what everyone pretty much knows, which is either A, clear out everything, or B, button everything up. And honestly, I don't want to spend the hundreds of hours to try and create one episode in 1 week doing nothing but buttoning everything. I felt like it would be a little disrespectful to you that for potentially several weeks I was going to do nothing but placing buttons or clearing areas out in the nether. So I decided a good idea would be to, find another method. And I did. That other method actually happens to be building in a certain biome and clearing out only a little bit. It's all about the location of the fortress for this one. So the location has to be in a basalt delta, or basalt delta. Get that guy off my butt. It has to be in a basalt delta, or it has to be in a soul sand valley. Now, with either one of those, it has to ultimately also be in the open. If it's not in the open, then I gotta clear out even more stuff. For example, if there was a nether fortress in the middle of a lava lake, that would be a perfect one. If it was classified in a soul sand valley or in a basalt delta. The reason being is, quite honestly, nothing else can spawn. And all you gotta do is create the spawning platform and a means to which they try to draw towards an iron golem. And the only thing you really gotta spawn proof for is certain mobs. All you gotta do to control the ghast is they have a spawning size that they need. Now, all you gotta do is, like any other farm, you put blocks in the way to control the spawning. Well, I finally finished the first wall. I've never actually done a guardian farm before. And I'll be honest, this is a little bit more heavy hitting than I expected it to be. I've built quite a bit of farms in my time on Bedrock and in my just having fun solo worlds. that I do that I've never posted videos on because I wanted to do videos on this first. Quite honestly, out of all the farms I've ever done, this is probably one of the hardest ones. I've actually never done a wither skeleton farm before, and I can't say the complexity of that one either, but I can admit that this is hands down one of the most nuts ones I've ever done, just for the simple fact that like it's not easy. A lot of what you're doing is a lot of placing sand. I've actually resorted to using the piston technique, which is the technique where you do this. And I'll be the first to admit it's still a little rough compared to what I want it to be. But it's going a lot faster than it would without the piston technique. So I actually use what's called the zero tick method. I wouldn't call it quote unquote zero tick because it's, well, not OP to the extent of game breaking, but it is OP to the extent that you can use a sticky piston to actually push blocks at a really rapid pace. So I tend to just do this. And it works. Well, I have officially made it to the halfway point in the walling. We're going to take a small break in the recording, actually, because I'm recording this during my daughter's nap so far, and now that she's waking up, I gotta go take care of her. I'll get back to it once she goes back to sleep. Hopefully I have my boom mic stick by then, and you won't hear the clickety clackety all the time like this, because the microphone's going to be a little bit further away, hopefully, and it won't pick it up as loudly. So, now we're back. Well, I actually did get my boom mic stick and my little fluffy thing to put over the microphone. So, I got a feeling audio quality is gonna increase now. I don't know how much or what so. It does seem like my desktop audio isn't working all of a sudden. So I'm gonna check that out quick. Okay, so we are back. I got my desktop audio fixed. I was working a little bit on this. The wife was out here watching TV, and I don't record unless I'm the only one in the living room. It's been a little while since I've been on. We had a couple things happen. For my normal job, I had a 40-hour hazmat class I had to take. And the wife came down with COVID, so I had to help take care of her for a little bit. It put a strain on me being able to record, and let alone record and play. So there hasn't been me playing for a little bit. This is actually, to be honest, this is all getting recorded on Thursday, I think today is. It's been different having to try and rush the recording process. It's not like this is intended. Damn, these guys really want my head. It's different trying to do all this recording, bum rushing it like this. I normally don't enjoy doing it that way. But I don't really have a choice given the circumstances. Okay, now that I'm back and operating, I'm gonna skip to finishing this wall quick, and I'll get you back in a second. Well, that wall is done. We're gonna sleep the night away now. So, now that I got this set up and it's operational, we're gonna skip to the wall being done. This is gonna take a little bit longer. I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear the pistons running. I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear the guardians beaming off. And I'm also pretty sure you don't want to sit here and watch time-lapse of me trying to do a sand wall. Honestly, I don't think they're that good of a time-lapse. Time-lapse is where you're destroying things and tearing down like a mountain, or a time-lapse where you're working on a build. They're more enjoyable. Other than that, I don't think so. So I'm going to skip to the good part when this is complete, and we'll go from there.
Well, that definitely took a lot longer than I thought it would. It took about as long for that one wall as it did for the other two. I'm not thoroughly, I'm going to say, time management wise, happy with having to spend that much time on a wall because these guys were relentless towards me.
Now that this is done, I actually do have something planned for today that I'm going to start working on. But to do it, we have to go get some resources. So I'm going to dump all these valuable goods, such as all the sand, off right here. And we're going to go start taking care of something that I thought we could go start taking care of. That something happens to be something really good that I enjoy doing. So I'm dropping some inventory off because this is inventory I don't need. So what I was thinking for today, believe it or not, is actually a little bit more on the fun side of things. I'm trying to see if I got any of the resources on hand here at the moment. Just because, no, I don't have any, it seems. What I plan on doing, actually do have enough to farm most of this in the overworld, to be honest. I plan on beautifying the starter base island. And to do that, I was thinking, what better way than to do mini mushrooms that use end rods. You know, I genuinely enjoy having some fun and spending some time into some fun things and making things pretty. I'm not a huge fan of industrial landscaping, but I'm not against taking time to actually build something enjoyable. On that note, I thought you could bone meal them and grow them faster. Apparently I was wrong. So I am literally quite here for one thing and one thing only. And honestly, that's just course plant. So all we're gonna do is run around breaking a bunch of trees, collecting a bunch of chorus fruit, and heading back. So here we are, we're back.
You bastard. Oh boy, there's a lot of these guys here. So now that I got enough to create a stack of end rods, I'm gonna head back. I'm gonna get some of these end rods cooked up, and we're gonna start working on the area modification and beautification that I was talking about doing. Um, okay. So it seems like I'm having a issue with the world generation right now. So I'm gonna hop over to Shockbite and do a reset on the server, and hopefully that will start fixing things. Well, that was quite interesting. Apparently I was pretty close to here because I only had one rocket and that's all it took to get here from where I was in the water. But yeah, that wasn't exactly the funnest thing to have to put up with. Never had that happen before, and I'm sorry you guys had to witness that. But back on topic, we're gonna start getting clay. We're gonna start getting through some of the good stuff. We're gonna start getting everything set up and rocking and rolling. Hopefully, we're gonna get to see the end result sooner rather than later because I want to try and knock out as much of it as possible in one shot.
Okay, now that everything is done smelting and everything is crafted up, I actually had leftover red mushroom blocks in here, so I snagged some up, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna sprinkle these in throughout the area, and on top of each one of these is going to be a little mushroom block. Give it like that little mini mushroom feel. Add a little life, add some pizzazz to it. I'd use and honestly, I would use the red mushroom microblock, but honestly, I do a lot of my stuff in the ocean, so I don't get a lot of wandering traders to even try and hunt down the supplies I need. But I think this will just lighten things up a little bit. It's kind of a little bland around here, per se. And it's a little drabby and painful to look at when you ain't got much going on, really. Yeah, it's looking a little better now. Some of these spots are a little drabby and cold feeling. But this looks a lot better now already. I can put one here. Okay. Just, checking as I go. Like I said, I'm going to leave that island untouched. And one thing that I'm actually going to do, and this is going to sound a little on the loco side, is do something I don't think I've ever seen before, at least in the manner that I'm going to do it. What I'm going to be doing is putting up a couple trees, and I'm going to stylize them after the mushrooms. Kind of like I did the house. I'm going to have... let me double check this. I'm going to do like actual like palm tree style stuff. And I'm going to stylize them in the style of this house a little bit, make it blend a little better. I'm gonna, see how it turns out and keep going. Okay, so this is the tree right now. I fairly enjoy it, should say. I don't think it looks bad-ish. I mean, you're trying to take a mushroom and make a tree out of it, so there's only so much you can do. But I'm gonna put another one down somewhere else and do something not so tropical-y for it. We're gonna do, well, yeah, I'm gonna do something tropical-y. Okay, so this is tree number 2 finally. Yeah. You're getting the same vibe I am. It looks a lot like a, one of the nether tree variants. But we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna keep it. I'm not gonna tear it down. I think it's a good addition. As ugly as it can be. Just because, whatever. I just don't want this being too noisy. But I also want to try and keep the natural vibe of it being a mushroom build. That's something I wanted to try and keep going along here, is that. I want it to continue to keep the feeling, I don't want to sit here and make this feel like something it's not. I don't know what other way to describe it. It's a mushroom island. I want it to continue to feel like a mushroom island. I gotta go light that up. Because I don't feel like dealing with mobs spawning around my guardian farm. I am gonna put a couple more of these down just for the sake of it. Mainly at this lower level area. Just liven it up a little bit. Not too much. Not too little. But once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go light up that that little catwalk around the Guardian farm. I do realize I need food, but I am too lazy to eat right now because I just want to finish this. There we go. Other than that one dark spot there, it feels a lot better. With that, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you could, please like, subscribe, and if you could also, let me know in the comments what you think. I tried to make today's video as fun as possible with all the base work, getting the resources for the little base work with the end rods, trying to wall up the Guardian farm, build the little trees. As much as it could have really dragged out, today's episode I feel went pretty well. And I'd like to thank you for going through it with me.